So today we're going to look at the chart of Rumi, a very famous poet and the person who started the whirling dervish um, dance. Uh, we're going to be using transformational Vedic astrology. My name is Michael Mastro. And if you're interested in learning more about transformational Vedic astrology or learning to become certified as a TVA astrologer, you can go to American Institute of Vastu under courses. So first of all, let's just do an overview of his chart. If you were to look to the eastern horizon when Rumi was born, you would see the constellation associated with Sagittarius, rising at 2 degrees, 27 minutes. This becomes the most effective point of any house, of any planet that's within 5 degrees of this rising sign degree becomes very, has a lot of impact. And so I think in his chart, Mars is within 5 degrees, but no other planets. So let's see what we want to first see how the planets are operating in his chart. And then we'll look at the timing of events, and then we'll look at remedies. So it's very interesting that you can go back to maybe 600-700 years ago and see how the astrology works. First of all, we want to see what the malefic planets are in the chart. And any multicona sign, 1, 4, 5, 7, 9, and 11, that falls in the 6th, the 8th, or the 12th house becomes a functional malefic. So only Moon, along with Mars, Ketu, and Rahu, are functional malefics for the chart. The rest are benefics. The rest of the planets are all benefics. First, let's look at Sun. Sun is at 23 degrees. It is ruling Leo, which is in the 9th house. So it says that, and it's placed in that career house. So it says that he will have good fortune and the ability to have a guru and to be able to teach. And Sun is aspected by or afflicted by Rahu, so it gives strong desire to teach spiritual knowledge. This is the house of spiritual knowledge and gurus and good fortune. Then Moon is at 20 degrees, and remember we said it was malefic. It is ruling the 8th house of research into spiritual knowledge, the occult, and it is placed also in the career house. So also this gives the added ability of the Moon to be teaching spiritual occult knowledge, research into, I think, the Quran, and translating those beautiful passages into, powerful, beautiful poetry. Mars is at 7 degrees, and it is close to the most effective point, this 2 degrees, 27 minutes, and it is ruling the house of education, investments, and children. So he did have, I think, 2 children with one wife and another 2 children with another wife, and it is placed in this house of enlightenment. So, and on foreign lands as well. So we'll look later on, but he fled his homeland in 1213 AD because of the invasion of Genghis Khan, and he moved to a foreign land during that Mars period. Mercury now, and also this spiritual whirling dervish dance is also associated with Mars and spiritual growth. So he used this whirling dance as a vehicle to transcend, and said that it was like the dance was like a planet revolving around the sun, and use it as a spiritual tool. Let's see, Mercury's at 8 degrees, ruling the career house in its own sign. So that makes Mercury very powerful. So he had a very powerful ability to communicate spiritual knowledge and through his poetry, and got it published actually. And it stands to this day to be very, very popular with Deepak Chopra and many celebrities. Um, and you see often his quotes on Facebook as an inspiration, especially about love. He has a lot of love poems. Jupiter is at 12 degrees. It is ruling the house of life, purpose, longevity, and health. It is placed in this eighth house of occult spiritual knowledge. And so it says that his life purpose is to teach occult spiritual knowledge and to do research into the Quran's teachings to translate that. Venus is at 20 degrees. It is in its own sign in the house of income and friends. It says that he can have income through beautiful healing speech. Venus has to do with the fine arts, so the poetry. He can have income through that beautiful poetry. Um, Now, Venus is afflicted by Rahu, so that gives his speech some controversy. And then I think he had Venus also represents wife, so he had two wives. I'm not sure if one died or what happened exactly, but they were both very beautiful. Venus gives beauty. Saturn's at 11 degrees. It's placed in the house of relationships, and it is ruling this house of communication. So he had great success. This is a house of success. Great success through serving others, through communicating uplifting poetic verse. Rahu and Ketu are at 17 degrees. They are a functional malefic, and they are placed in the third house and the ninth house. So it says that he has a desire to communicate and teach spiritual knowledge. And then let's just look at the timing of events. So it's interesting that his poetry, even though it comes from the Quran, was honored by all faiths because it's so inspirational. In 1213, when he was very young, he had to flee to a foreign land because of the invasion of Genghis Khan, and that was during a Mars period. We already talked about that. He met his guru during a Jupiter period. Jupiter has to do with teacher. And he died during a K2 sub period, K2 having to do with uh, moving on to enlightenment. And also during that period, if you look at the transit chart, Saturn and Mars were transiting the 12th house of end of life, and Rahu, unexpected events, was transiting the house of death-like experience, the 8th house. Thank you for listening. If you're interested in learning about how to read charts through transformational Vedic astrology, you can go to American Institute of Vastu .com, and if you're interested in a Vedic reading, you can order one under services at vastucreations.com. Thank you for listening.